Last, but certainly not least, we have the candidates running for Richland City Council, position 7. They are Melody Reed and Greg Jones. Do you want the L in there? Okay. So, Mr. Jones will begin with his opening statement.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters and their partners for allowing me to speak with you tonight. I am Gregory L. Jones, running for Richland City Council, position number 7. I've been a member of this community for over 30 years, and I am currently the Vice Chairman of the Richland Parks and Recreation Commission. I bring over 35 years of engineering experience in the federal government and the commercial nuclear and construction industry. I am honored to be endorsed by the local 598 Plumbers and Steamfitters Union, as well as the International Association of Firefighters 1052 Richland. I chose to run for the City Council because I believe I can provide valuable insights and perspectives on meeting the Richland's Vision 2030 to provide the kind of city that will ensure we are fiscally responsible, that we strengthen our economic vitality, and improve our overall infrastructure to meet the growing needs of our community. Working with the City of Richland, council manager-based government for the past 21 months, I have seen the dedication and commitment by the City of Richland staff that makes Richland Team one of the best-in-class organizations. City Manager Cindy Johnson has done a tremendous job of enhancing the Richland's desirability, long-term stewardship, and financial responsibility. My top 3 priorities are: maintain financial stability without incurring more debt, economic vitality, and recruiting and maintaining young talent to work, raise families, and grow here in Richland. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Reed?
Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this and for you coming out and staying this late. My name is Melody Reed, and I'm running for seat number 7 on the City Council. I always get asked, well, why are you running for City Council? Why do you want to be on City Council? Basically, I just want to give back to my community. I want to share my time and my talent with the city that has given me so much. I feel strongly that more people should get involved in government service, so I'm stepping up, or I'm putting my money where my mouth is. My parents instilled a very strong sense of community and service in my sister and I believe I would bring a very diverse set of skills and talents to the City Council. Besides being a woman, and there's only one woman on council right now, I have worked as an educator for over 30 years and served on multiple committees, panels, and boards during that time. I've held many leadership positions. Having a child with disabilities has opened my eyes to the challenges many individuals face regarding mobility and integration within a community. I served a 3-year term on the Georgia Special Education Advisory Panel, traveling around the state to hear and address public comment and concerns, as well as talking to politicians about the priorities of children with special needs. I was the regional director of Odyssey of the Mind for several years, teaching children creative problem-solving skills, which can come in handy in any organization. I have a master's degree in public administration, and I would like to apply my knowledge and my enthusiasm to the positions as a member of the Richland City Council. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. We will begin with audience questions, and Mr. Jones, if you would go first on answering this. What benefits do you see to preserving natural areas within the city? Are there areas which have not yet been set aside that should be? Please give examples.
Okay. I am very much for, coming from the Parks and Recreation Commission, in maintaining our natural habitat and wildlife. It's one of our primary strategic goals as part of the strategic leadership plan for the City of Richland. And I do believe there are areas where we may have encroached a little bit too far. One example, in my opinion, is the Beer Falls project, encroaching on the Amon Basin. The Amon Basin is one of the last long-term areas of history in our area that needs to be preserved and respected. In addition, we have maintained the Badger Mountain area for walking trails and paths by procuring 19 acres this last year. And those two alone are important attributes to maintain the natural wildlife and flora and fauna of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Reed?
I am very much for preserving the natural areas. We've done a very good job up to this point on the City Council and the city in general. The access to the rivers is excellent, and it gives the citizens a place to go and to enjoy, and they've done a wonderful job in like Howard Ammon Park and the several different parks with the different activities that people can go and do, Badger Mountain trails, walking trails, and we do have a lot of open area in Richland, and I think that we are being good. I can't think of the word. I think we're doing a good job of preserving those open areas and not stomping on the habitats of animals. Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Reed, if you would go first on this question. Because none of the area auditoriums or public venues was created with adequate acoustics to really support musical entertainment, would you take the time to research with the Mid-Columbia Symphony and the Master Singers to see why a performing arts center is needed?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. Because none of the area auditoriums or public venues was created with adequate acoustics to really support musical entertainment, would you, as a council person, take the time to research with the Mid-Columbia Symphony and Master Singers to see why a performing arts center is needed here?
Well, first of all, I would like to find out. I am a big proponent of the arts, singing and the symphony, and I would like to. I would research the venues that they use currently and find out why there are not adequate acoustics, and if there would be any kind of a way to remedy that. Probably be less expensive than actually building a new performing arts center. And we'd have to look at the money that we have for such a project such as that. But I believe fixing where they're at right now would be a lot less expensive than building a whole new performing arts center. We have a lot of other things that are a lot more important right now in the city.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
Thank you. It's interesting that we've established some very unique attributes around the Tri-Cities. One specifically that the Parks and Recreation Department is involved with this year is to revitalize and update the John Dam Plaza. As part of that, the Parks and Recreation Department is actually building, has some design for a arts entertainment area on the south end of John Dam Plaza. As part of the overall process for the design and development of this project, we would certainly encourage the input of the arts community in general, specifically the Mid-Columbia Symphony and the singers, as well as any residents that would have a unique perspective to make it the most viable and acoustically, if you will, driven venue. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll come right back to you on this next question. Sustainability should be an important part of any city's future planning and development. How would you rate Richland's efforts in planning for the future, and are there improvements you think could be made?
As a member of the Parks and Recreation Commission, one of my first tasks was to understand and encourage and adapt the strategic leadership plan. Throughout the strategic leadership plan, there are many goals and objectives that Richland has established that would enhance the sustainability of the city. This includes walkability, upgrades to the Uptown Central Business District, revitalization aspects. All of those need to tie together and integrate for an overall sustainable city. And I think we continue to need to look at other cities of our size and rural and maintain our rural nature and work together and develop the best plans for meeting those objectives.
Thank you. Mrs. Reed?
I agree with Greg. The City Council currently has a wonderful strategic plan that's looking ahead into the future, and they're taking into account what could happen in the future, and they're trying to bring in more business and bring in more arts and recreation and try to fit it into their budget. I've been so impressed with the City of Richland. They've maintained a balanced budget for many years now, and they're looking ahead, and they're working together with other cities and all the agencies to come up with ideas on what do we need, and they're listening to the people of Richland about what do you want to see in our city. So there are lots of things that can be done for the City of Richland, but the future will tell what that is.
Thank you. And if you would go first on this last question. At the Kennewick Forum on Monday night, there were several comments and concerns about public safety. Specifically, they talked about gang activity. How would you rate the public safety within the City of Richland, and is the current budget for this adequate?
I think the current safety in Richland is excellent. The police have got a traffic patrol. They are addressing the gangs. They are addressing all of the different aspects of crime within the city, and I think they're doing a wonderful job. Listening to the chief of police the other day, we had a little meeting for the candidates, and I was very impressed with the way he's dealing with the city and the police, and I think we're in good shape. So, I think we're going to need to be looking down the line and watching it and making sure that we don't have gang activity increasing in our areas. And if we are, I'm sure they will be upping that police watch closer.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
Yes. With respect to gang activity, the City of Richland has probably one of the finest police forces headed up by Chief Skinner. They take pride and ownership of the protection and the safety of its people, whether you're out walking in the parks, uptown, farmers market. Their response times are critical, and they want to maintain that to the best of their abilities. One of the things I want to make sure of is that the general fund, which funds the police department, the fire department, et cetera, is dominated by their sales tax. It's interesting to note that although our sales tax seems high at 8.3%, the City of Richland itself only gets 0.85% of those funds to go to the general fund. If we don't maintain sustainability, as we just talked about, with respect to bringing in additional commercial businesses, et cetera, we can lose those funds, and that could be a detriment to our overall protection of the city.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to closing statements, and Mr. Jones, please go first.
Excuse me. Again, I would like to thank the League of Women Voters and all the partners for giving me this opportunity to speak with you tonight and share my perspectives that I would bring to this Richland City Council. I believe it is critical that the City Council maintain a broad, open, and transparent perspective for the growth and well-being of the city. To achieve this, the Council must work with its commissions, city staff, but most importantly, the residents of Richland to understand the goals and objectives and methods of accomplishment that the residents want their city to be. Regardless of sex, race, or religion, I believe it's the qualifications that are necessary for understanding and being a good council member. My 35 years of business experience is combined working with the Parks and Recreation Commission for the last 21 months brings a unique and positive attributes to an already strong working city council. My goal is to provide continued support to the Richland's 2030 Vision, Strategic Leadership Plan, and monitor our progress as a city. We must balance our growth with our ability to provide an effective and efficient infrastructure to support that growth. We must also maintain flexibility for emerging issues for Richland's success. I will actively listen to the residents of Richland on pressing issues that we will all face to ensure the growth, vitality, and attractiveness of Richland for generations to come. Please vote for Greg Jones, Richland City Council, position 7. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mrs. Reed.
Thank you once again for coming, for having this forum this evening, and for those of you that came out. I hope I've answered your questions adequately. It would be an honor for me to work with the Richland City Council. I believe they are conscientiously working for the best interests of the City of Richland and its residents, and I will also. I was very impressed last week when several of the candidates and I met with Ms. Johnson, our city manager, and the executive board, who came together to help us more fully understand the workings of the city. Managing a $239 million budget and putting the citizens of Richland's interests in the forefront. They are very dedicated professionals, and I would be very proud to work with them as a member of the City Council. I will work diligently with integrity, honesty, and accountability to support the people of Richland's wants and needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, I would like to thank these two candidates for being last, but certainly not least, running for Richland City Council, position 7, Melody Reed and Greg Jones. Ballots will be sent out the middle of next week. Be sure to have them turned in by November 5th. Thank you again to all the candidates. I still see a few out there. Particular thanks to Mike Charbonneau of Richland City View TV for recording this forum, and John Funfar of Pasco TV, who helped him, and to the Richland School Board for allowing us to use this building at no cost. Most of all, thank those of you who are here for attending. Good night.